And welcome everyone. Happy Saturday to another discussion about The Last of Us, episode 2. We're going to dive into all things Last of Us tonight. So thank you for joining us and let's say hello to my bestie, my awesome, my fever. What's up, Scarlet?
Nothing much, hun. Ready to talk about this awesome episode. Cannot wait.
No, I'm ready. Ready? What about you, James? What's up, Mr. James?
Hey, ready to talk about it as well. And I just want to say, seeing that little, you put my little thing in the intro. I know it's been there the whole time, and I don't think I've commented. That's badass. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Well,
no,
I'm here
who
for
she
one
got
of
to get
us
that
now.
intro done was good. Her,
Yeah,
her husband, they came through with that, man. It was really good.
yeah. I love it.
For the first one on the channel, besides the one Scarlet did, Scarlets are better. Just,
Well,
just
thank
way
you,
better.
hun.
But no, this was an interesting episode. And before we get started, let's see who we got hanging with us. Hi, Mr. Patrick. What's going on? Thank you so much for stopping by. There she is. Jen the teacher. Was she first?
Yeah, she was
First
first. I
one.
was just clicking on Patrick as he just popped in. I was literally going to click on him right before you said that, just because I was clicking on folks as they popped in.
That's right, Patrick. Burn all the witches except for me because I have special privileges. Just so everybody out there knows, I'm special. And I see Miguel. Hi, babe. Thanks for coming. But yeah, this was an interesting episode. So it's gonna be interesting that we're gonna get since James and I kind of know somewhat about the story of the game and how this worked. I'm interested, Scarlett. What did you think, not knowing anything about the game? What did you think of this episode?
This episode wasn't too bad. It gave us, well, for me, it gave me the monsters that I wanted. I didn't mind a lot of the monster scenes. Um, of course, we got a good, well, I say good ending. It was sad ending. But it was still pretty good. I don't know if it's different from anything that's supposed to happen in the games. Um, but so far I don't mind any of the little changes as far as I know that they're supposed to be more about the spores. We get the little gas mask. That was kind of funny. We find a little pot shop. A lot of that little stuff
Right?
was
I
real
think I
cute.
think we'd be happy with that pot shop. I don't
Yeah,
want
I
to
mean,
blow up
shit,
all
she
that
was happy as fuck. Find that
stuff
shit,
in our book bags, stuffing them full,
right?
fit like a shopping
Um,
spree. Got the good bud.
and it
I
was
welcome Bill Chill. Thank you so much.
where's the pot shop? There it is.
What's up, Cordyceps? That's a good one. And I see Miss Vic. Welcome, welcome, Miss Vic. I have so much to say, but I'm gonna wait until y'all go through the episode. You got, you got,
Hmm.
you got some stuff to say. You got an opinion. I'm curious, Vic. Did you know anything about the game before you watched, or are you watching it like Scarlet, knowing nothing about the game? But what about you, James? What'd you think of this episode?
I thought it was good. I always like, some huge attack by monsters on a civilization or settlement.
Hmm.
I mean, that's just my thing. I hate, that's maybe bad to say, but I like to see the destruction of it all and the death and the carnage. But yeah, it was sad at the end, of course. Knew it was going to happen, but still, it was to see it play out,
Hmm.
was pretty cool.
What
Yeah,
about
and
this
what
part? I
did you
was
think?
curious how y'all felt about this. This part, it didn't upset me, but I was like, oh, for some reason, I thought there was going to be something more with it than just it triggered the little dudes. Because I thought they were already been triggered from the last episode, right? Because they were kind of like sensing
I
around
thought so
outside.
too. Yeah.
And then it wasn't really until, right, the guy opened it up that then they're like, oh, let's send the monsters that way. And I was like, wait, didn't they already fucking realize that shit? Like, that was the only part that kind of got me a little bit, but then again, that could just be something I need to I'm thinking too much.
No, like I was expecting them to like I don't know, find a face in there, find a body.
I
I
thought they
I
was
was
gonna
thinking
lunge out at the dude. I was like, oh shit. He uncovers it. They start creeping out. I'm like, oh fuck, he's gonna get like infected, and then it's gonna spread through the town, or some shit. No,
or spit some of those spores. Like I was waiting
right?
for I thought this was gonna be bigger than it was, but Yeah, I guess
It was still badass though. Like this part was the only part that threw me off from the whole now the whole massacre thing or whatever, the brutalness of this fucking massive army coming, and then multiplying. That was pretty brutal.
that was cool how, and he said they're like, I forget how they were talking in the beginning and how they came across like a group and they were hiding underneath. They were using the dead almost as like warmth. So I kind of figured as soon as Abby rolled up on these like frozen, I was like, oh, it's gonna like explode. What did you think about this scene, James, where they just kind of all came out
Oh, I loved it.
from under the ground?
Yeah, I love stuff like that. And some shows, of course, we know too well. You can't think too much into it sometimes. But are we saying that all of these creatures were just under the snow, or is there a tunnel under the ground where they come to this point and then come up out of the ground? Where did all those people come from? Were they there originally?
Right.
I have some questions like that. And, the guy that found the stuff in the pipe was going to go tell Joel's brother, but then the shit hit the fan and he didn't get to, and maybe then he died. So there may not be anybody know that it's inside the walls. So that could, the threat's still not gone. It seems like.
Right. So they might still, so it still might come back to that. Okay. That would be good though, because I was wondering if they're going to do anything more with the pipes. Like I get that they're there and it was a signal to whatever this group is out here, but it just seemed like maybe they was going to do something, because it was a weird invasion in that regard. Like I was like, okay, because the little sensory doodads were already out and about, right? The pipe he broke was like a whole nother pipe.
Yeah, or back farther up the pipe or something. Yeah.
And so I was thinking, like, okay, I thought they were already triggered. Like when she stepped on this, I thought they were already triggered to go out towards the encampment. Not necessarily after her, but they were like, no, we're all about you, sweetie. Until they fucking pop open another pipe, and then they're like, oh wait, no, we got more people over here. You're nothing compared to this town of yumminess.
Because it did seem like they were all like a herd of like a flock of birds or something, where they changes direction all of a sudden. They were after her, but then something, I guess the pipe stuff signaled them and they just changed direction and headed toward the town. But it's like, where they come from, there's got to be like an underground tunnel that they came to that point. And did they come to that point because they knew the town was there initially and then they just froze? I mean, I got a lot of questions, but like I said, maybe I'm thinking too much.
That's the way I started thinking. I was like, okay, I'm just probably over trying to like analyze it. Possibly.
Yeah, it was like, I didn't know if it was like happenstance that Abby kind of like they were triggered and then Abby just happened to kind of come into contact with them all at the same time. I wasn't sure if these were like parallel things happening, or like you said, Scarlet, did the little vine thingies already send out the signal, but then they also make it seem like her coming across the frozen bodies started it. So I'm not too sure myself which it is, but I do have to say that bloater scene, that was pretty cool. Where the bloater was kind of like chasing Joel's brother, and he was like,
"Oh yeah,
"Okay,
he used the flamethrower."
He did, and you get to do that in the game. That's from the game. You get to get a flamethrower because they're weak to fire. That's like their weakness. But he was lucky. This thing almost got him. But no,
I think it was like, which moment
was
was it? Is it this moment where he realized, oh shit, fucking, he's like, ow, 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 no, rawr, fuck you and your fire. Like, oh shit, and you see the fucking thing start going lower, and I'm like, oh god, no, oh no, dude, you got nowhere to go, you cornered yourself, right? Oh shit, he's all crispy and shit, like walking to you.
Yeah, like I'm just waiting, like, is he gonna just like fall over? What? Like, how is
and then he does.
And then he finally, like, just
all crispy and shit in the fucking snow. You hear it all sizzling and shit. What's
Yeah.
up, Fletcher?
I thought the scene was pretty cool. Hey, Fletcher. But yeah, what about you guys in the chat? Did you enjoy the mirage of monsters and infected? When they slammed up against that gate, I was like, oh, I don't know if that's gonna hold. I was like, there's a whole shit ton of them, and then the bloater just came and busted through.
Yeah, I did look like that a little bit. Not this dude here, but this guy here. That was a little bit like me. Oh shit, I'm fucked. Dana, we fucked up. We're out. We're running low.
Right?
Shit. Please die,
No,
dude.
no
And then like the
ammo.
big daddy falls in front of me, and I'm just like, oh, thank you, Jesus. We made it. Some
Right?
bitch.
Luck is on my side.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I thought this was a very interesting episode. I haven't seen reviews or anything on it because, it's like from you try to stay away from that stuff. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if the video game people are happy. Have you heard anything, James? Are video game people saying anything? Because I thought Joel's death it was very similar to the game, give or take a few things, but it was very similar.
Yeah, I haven't heard. I actually, to be honest, I haven't even watched the trailer for episode 3, so I'm a little behind on stuff.
Right.
I haven't watched the trailer either.
But it's I mean, I thought the death, just the whole thing as far as just pretending there isn't a game or I don't know the story or whatever. I enjoyed it, just for the entertainment value of it, the story, and like I say, if you don't look too deep and ask too many questions, it was a pretty good overall episode. And I think what part it was after everything happened, and Joel's brother was hugging his wife, and he
Yeah.
just kind of got weak in the knees and stuff. That kind of thing. That kind of stuff gets me. Like when you realize, oh, it's really cool to see all the death and destruction, but then you realize, man, it's really sad too.
Yeah. Yeah, they've been living such they've been living as normal as one could in this type of situation. Even when they came across it, they're like, no, they have like lights, like power grids and stuff. It's not no generator. Like this is a city. So
Yeah,
to see this attack and see the city fall like this, it makes you realize that you can't be comfortable
yeah. Everything's
in this type
fragile.
of world.
Yeah, we're fragile. And
Yeah.
imagine if they weren't. I mean, they were ready. They were all ready. They had their shit out. Like something's about to come. We're ready. What if they weren't? What if they were all just having a
Well,
party
you
or
saw
something?
that when the people were ready with the fire, two of them ran away.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I would too, probably screaming like a girl. Ah!
Oh, yeah, they was a little scared as hell.
I mean,
So you don't know.
I
You
would
can you
hope
can
I
do
wouldn't.
practices. You can do practices. You can do your readiness. But until you're facing that situation, them motherfuckers bounced. They was like, nope, I'm out. I'm out. I don't care what you say. But Joel's brother was like, he stood his ground. He was like, all right then. guess guess it's just me. And he tried. He
Yeah.
tried. Let's see what you guys are saying. Fletcher says, trailer I haven't watched. Also, people hating Joel's death. Come on, they wouldn't change the plot story if this is an adaptation. Yeah, you're right. Like it's very no like anybody who does know that Joel dies, meaning anybody who knows the video game. So I guess I understand why people might be upset who haven't seen the video game, but I think it would have been really stupid if they kept Joel alive.
Oh, is he not supposed to die
What
yet?
No, this is when he dies. There's a
Oh,
little
okay.
more that happens that they didn't show yet, but I believe they're going to show it in some kind of a flashback because I remember when watching the trailer, we saw a couple of scenes of it when
Mm-hmm.
Joel and Ellie were together kind of they were reconciling in a way. It's a moment that comes up between them that happens right before Joel dies. So I don't know when we're going to see that, but I believe they filmed something about it because I remember seeing in, like I said, in the trailer, it looked like a couple of scenes what would be that moment.
Right.
So,
Mm-hmm.
but it pretty much is I would say 80% to what happened in the comic book. Listen to me, the video game. Like
Mm-hmm.
Ellie watches them kill Joel, and like it's horrific. It breaks Ellie.
Oh yeah,
Like
and
she
that's. I
is
mean, it's
now
pretty much what
on.
they did. Like, it makes me want to go and watch the game or play through it after, just to really see how different it
It's
is.
good. It's a good story. Like even the video game version, if you sit down and because it is out there on YouTube, because I that's how I watched it. It is an amazing story.
It was
But this
pretty
is
good
like the
so far.
start.
Like, I mean, I like the whole way it broke it down, and then even his death made. I mean, it made sense the way they brought them together. Seemed pretty natural, and then even all the way through, it was, you know, they did exactly kind of what they set this scene up to be, because they were already talking about how are they going to do this, you know, how are they going to get the two or get him alone if he was going to be with other people, how are they going to do it. They were sort of formulating a plan, and then it just so happens, you know, she's been searching for him this whole time, and right when all this shit's going to go down, that's when she meets him. Like, it seemed pretty standard for what they were setting up, regardless of the game.
Yeah.
Like,
But convenient. I mean, how convenient was that? Oh, guess what? Here's Joel. We didn't even have to go to town.
right. You know, like I said, they pretty much set it up, right? Because on that the last episode, they saw him in the outside, right? They saw the lights and stuff. They knew there was people out there. And then, of course, she's, you know, wandering around out there and gets caught up in the damn zombies. The next thing you know, she's fucking around into Joel. And she doesn't even realize, really, because she's in such shock of trying to get, you know, escape from the fucking herd of them, horde of them. And I don't know, it seemed set up right, because I figured, I was like, okay, how is she gonna get them? Okay, now they're wandering around out there in the snow. She's already got them in the cabin. They're fucked. Like, once she got them to the cabin, I pretty much knew Joel was fucked. I didn't know if he was gonna die or not, but I was like, yeah, this is not good. They're outnumbered.
Yeah.
Joel's got someone with him that, you know, he's gonna try to keep safe no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And that girl was out for blood. Which, speaking of this little bitch here, Dana.
Yes. Yes.
Speaking of this little chickie here, look, I get her.
Yes.
I get all of this. I get all of this. Hell, I even understand a little bit of this. Okay? Like, all right, you shot him. You made your goddamn point. But the whole torturing thing, I didn't completely get, because I'm sitting here thinking to myself, while she's talking to him about this poor doctor, her father, did we just totally forget he had a little girl on the table that he was going to fucking damn near murder? Like, well, actually, he was going to murder in the name of science. Like, Joel just went in there and was just like an asshole murderer. No, he went in there to save a little girl that your father was going to kill. Sorry.
Yes. No, and I don't know if she knows that. I don't know what she knows at this point in the TV show, but she does know that in the game. She just doesn't care.
Yeah, at the beginning of
She just-
episode 1, they said that it seemed like they didn't know, because they were saying, like, well, there's supposed to be this girl that's immune or something, and one of them said that's a myth or something like that.
Yep. Yep. So as far as the show goes, I don't know what she knows.
And I guess
And
Joel knew. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I don't understand why. I think Joel still wanted to keep her safe, because she'd be right back in that position the more people know she's immune.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
going
He
to be a
didn't want to
science
say.
experiment somewhere.
Yeah, he didn't want to say anything in that moment to try to explain himself, because it would expose her. So he just had to bite the bullet, per se.
Mm-hmm. Vicky says Joel, super assassin, got hurt by this little girl. Yeah, well, you know, he, like, so they put him in a conference. Again, if it had just been him in this situation, they probably wouldn't have gotten the complete upper hand on him. He would have at least gotten some kind of licks in. But the fact that they had Ellie's little girlfriend, I forget her name now.
Yeah.
But
Dina.
I think
Something.
it's Dina.
I thought it was just, I was going to say D, but I couldn't remember what the D stood for. I'm sorry. But she, yeah, you could tell, because immediately, like, that puts him at the greatest disadvantage. They're outnumbered. She's already got a gun to her head. He's already got a gun to her head. So yeah, Joel was pretty much, he knew that he was slightly fucked. I think he was just hoping they could talk it out and try to figure
Yes.
out. But once he knew who she was, I think he wasn't happy about it, but at some point he just knew like there was nothing he could do.
Yeah, probably when he got shot in the leg. He's like,
But even if she knew that Joel was saving Ellie in that moment, I don't think she would have given a shit.
no,
Mhm.
no, she wouldn't have.
I think it still would have ended the way it ended, and that
Mhm.
she was out for blood, revenge,
Right.
and nothing was going to stop her. And this is the start of their rivalry, because what do you think
Right.
happens next? Now,
I'm
after
assuming Ellie's
at
going to go
her,
after her, and then
yeah,
it's a continuous cycle, right?
yes,
And I get, and of course, this is the way the story has to go. That's understandable. But this dude here, I was kind of surprised because I thought he was going to be the one that would have, because again, I haven't seen the game, so I don't know what's going on. But I thought he was going to be the one to reason with her a little bit better, even after, like, when he first, she first shot him. Right up, even after
yes.
she was kind of beating him in the face, right? There was still a point where I'm like, okay, this can still be kind of solved. Like, you don't have to go to the next point, right? But she does.
Mhm.
She ends up, like, he's like, just tells her to finish it. And I'm like, dude, and I get that because he doesn't want him to come back after him. But I'm like, dude, you didn't have to let her torture him, because that's not what he did. Like, that's not what Joel didn't deserve that. And I get her revenge side of it. Like, if she just came up to him and shot him in the leg and then just shot him in the head, I would have been like, okay, she don't know. It is what it is. But the torturing aspect
Mhm.
of it, I'm sitting here like, okay, you realize what Joel was doing, and you realize what your father was doing. And this guy didn't really stop it, and he seemed like he had a little bit more sense about him. But then
Right.
again,
And he does. He does. In the video game, he very much does. He tries to pull Abby off the ledge many times, but she is so gung ho on finding Joel and killing him. She basically tells him to fuck off. But
Billy says,
he does try.
Bill Chill says, in the name of science, fuck Abby's feelings, Joel got soft and slipped. Yeah, he did a little bit.
But it seems like
He's
they don't
aged
know.
now.
Yeah, it seems like they didn't know, like, in the TV show anyway, that this guy killed a whole bunch of fireflies and my dad. They didn't even ask why, really. During the torture, they just, or Abby anyway, was just going, "Oh, my dad, you killed my dad, an unarmed man," which he wasn't unarmed. He had a scalpel, and he stepped toward Joel
Right.
in that
And
scene.
Joel wasn't in his right frame of mind. He was trying to save Ellie.
Yeah, and
he
he
was
would have.
trying to
Anybody,
stop Joel.
Yeah, so it's like, to me, it seems like the fireflies don't know, or Abby's group doesn't know the situation whatsoever of why Joel did it.
It's like they were here, right? They seemed as if they were here during it, but they
Yes.
never interacted with Joel personally. Like, they're on the base or whatever, and they hear about it, and they're like the survivor or the people who decided to stay after, I guess, that shit went down.
Yeah, she was having a dream, but it way she talked to Joel, she said she did see it. So they either arrived right after or something, because seemingly she did.
They knew about it. They said that
Yeah.
the people were reporting about, all the different. So it made me think they were either there on the base somewhere, because that was her father. So I was confused a little bit on that. I wasn't sure if they were actually there or not, but I thought they were. But I'm not sure now that you're talking about it.
So Amy,
basically what sets them up for the rest of the season. Ellie's going to be on a warpath.
Amy in the chat says people's reactions online being enraged by the show is wild. So I guess some people didn't like it. I haven't. I think we were talking earlier.
And that's why I'm trying to. I'm
looked.
curious. What was it about this that was so different that it was upsetting?
Right.
Because everything about it so far
thing.
seemed to go along with the way the setup was, the way Ellie, she reacted the way I thought she would. They find out they hadn't heard from them. She finds the horses, comes up on them, does her, got her gun. Everything's going right. She sees him. She even strikes out. The dude, grabs the gun, takes her down. She even gets a slice in on him. Makes her watch. Like, was it the way that he died, like the stabbing in the neck? Was it because they were able to, like, I don't know what was supposed to happen.
Yeah, I don't know.
No, it's to me. Now, mind you, I have not played the game. I've only watched the thing that they put out there where it's just the cutscenes, so you get to like kind of watch the story. And I was even telling Miguel earlier, I was like, it was a long time ago that I watched it, so I'm not too sure if Abby, like, I don't remember if they were there or not, or like arrived after. I don't remember that part, but Abby very much doesn't give a fuck. And like whether she knew or not, like in the game at least, Abby was going to kill Joel no matter what. So I'm like you, Scarlett. I don't know what people didn't like about it because I
Okay.
thought it was enough of the video game that it should be satisfying to people. Because again, it's like
Mm-hmm.
anything. When you're making an adaptation like this from a video game, from a book, this is a show. They have to do stuff to, like, I can at least respect when they have to make subtle changes or certain things to make the show flow in this type of format. I don't think they fully just like butchered it like we've seen
Mm-hmm.
some shows do.
I'm reading the chat, and Vic says, I think it's knowing that it's Abby's dad so soon. I heard someone say that'd be like finding out in season 1 that Jon Snow was a Targaryen. It just hits different finding out early on what her motive was. See, Jen, the teacher says, I think people want it to be different than the game. My students that said they were mad they had to be Abby to they were hoping Joel's life lasted through made more of the season. I'm not sure because see, I don't know. So is it because it was the we found out about the doctor and her relationship? Is that the big kicker?
I don't know. And in the game, I haven't played either, but in this part playing out, at one point I think you're Elliot, what's her name? And Abby, at one point you're a different person. So you're going back and forth between the characters in the game. So at one part you play Abby. So maybe something to do with that. The actual like gameplay is more what they're angry about. Not as much maybe the story, but the way something about the gameplay. I don't know.
That's what it makes me want to go and actually play the game at some point. Maybe even after this season, at least play through the first game and then part of the second one, and just to see because Amy
That would be
says yeah
interesting.
they could have stretched out the death. Okay, and again they fit a little bit in the episode as far as scene wise because they gave us quite a bit of the monsters and their mayhem, as well as looping this story in with it. The way they tied in, like how Joel and her are going to meet, the situation going down, how the zombies kind of switch back and forth, and then inevitably we get to hear, which is how all of our characters are kind of thrown about, so that Joel is sort of left in a helpless situation for this. I mean, I thought it was pretty decent, but again, like I don't know how the scene was supposed to play out, what was supposed to be told or not told. They never really told us or gave us the flashback yet of why, or Ellie knowing about what Joel was lying about. We're just kind of inferred to it. I don't
Yes,
know if it's
that is the scene that they cut out because that does actually happen before Joel dies. They have like a moment where they go out on a little bit of an adventure and he takes her to this space museum and they kind of hash it out. And Ellie reveals to him that she knows, and then Joel, but I thought they were going to do it because, like I said, I could have sworn I saw some
I
scene
bet it'll be a
in the
flashback.
trailer
yeah, it
that's what
might
I'm
be this
thinking now.
next
I think they're going to
episode or
show it in a
something,
flashback.
like when they're doing the funeral and she's talking about it. She's like, yeah, I feel bad. Me and Joel were, just told me about this stuff or something like that. Maybe that's how it comes out when they're reminiscing about Joel or something like that. She ends up telling the dude or the chick that she's been kind of hanging with in the group sort of that conversation. And that's why she's got this kind of stick up her ass, why she's been acting like a little bit more, bitchy or whatever. But yeah, I can't imagine that this is going to make Ellie tone down her hunting or any of that sort of anger that she's had built up in her.
You got that right.
I imagine it's going to make
And
her want
that's
to go a
pretty
little
much what
crazy.
progresses the rest of the game. That's what the rest of the game basically is. But let's see what else what's Vic saying? Well, you can't have it both ways. People bitch when it's not the exact same, and they still bitch when they don't do it different. You're right. You're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. Like it's so hard when something has source material because I feel like no matter what, you're gonna piss somebody off.
Mm-hmm.
You're either gonna piss off the people who know the source material, or you're gonna go by the source material, and the people who don't know about it are gonna bitch anyway. So somebody's
Right.
always gonna bitch about something.
Yeah, they had already bitched about the spores and stuff, so it's just
Yeah.
the way it goes.
And I get that because that's probably one of the spores things. It's probably one of the hardest parts to sort of display as far as TV or movies go, because that's, you want to talk about a budget probably. Otherwise, it's all going to be like, well, either way, it's a budget. Whether they do some sort of real effects or some kind of CGI, to sort of have that scene where they're, and then you have to have your actors constantly in masks. That gets a little bit, because now you have no real character development as far as like we have no face recognition if everybody's wearing masks all the time. But it does, I mean, but I get where people would feel like that sucks because that's such a big part of the lore of what this, virus is or whatever the outbreak is. Yeah, that
Oh,
kind
for
of does
sure. It
suck. I
makes
was hoping they were going to turn it into like a evolutionary aspect in the TV show. So maybe towards the end of the show, you see it. So they don't have to spend so much on the entirety of the show to make that spore sort of atmosphere.
hmm
Yeah, I
But
think
you're
it,
right.
it
It is part of the game.
it seems like they're in the TV show, like spores is something that evolved or it come eventually, something that happened. So it could make sense in the show if you didn't play the game and you only watched the show. It could make good sense that, oh, now they have spores.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Pam, we're talking about the show in general and how if folks have played the game, how do they feel about it? Some folks in the chat, and we're just kind of curious to see how people feel about it. And it looks like there might be some grumbles out there in the YouTubes, or not the YouTubes, but just the internets. People not liking the death scene and how it went down in the episode. But we're here. We're talking about it.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting to think that, no, like we were saying, no matter what, somebody's going to be upset. So you have to find a happy medium. And I personally think that they've given us enough of the source material that to where if they did this to The Walking Dead, I would have been way happier because at least
Right.
they're closer to their adaptation than eventually The Walking Dead became. How far off its adaptation it became.
Right.
I'll take a 80-20. I'll even take a 70-30, at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've seen worse adaptations out there.
And Texas is kind of asking. Just got here. And welcome, Texas Mofo. You talking about how the virus was supposed to survive in the cold? Yeah, they gave us the fungus. Yeah, gave us a little bit of an excuse on how that went. Supposedly, it basically piled up itself in order to keep itself insulated. And underground, I'm assuming, is warmer than above ground. And they sort of laid in wait until they were uncovered. And then they said, "Hey, we're here, and the cold don't bother us no more." But you just kind of, those rules, apparently, we don't look at those rules, Texas. I kind of questioned that too, but then I was like, well, they gave us the little explanation of how they were sort of insulating themselves. And
yeah.
So you think the
even in the pipes.
yeah, you think the stuff in the pipes is what started drawing them that way? Because I have to rewatch the episode, but you had the stuff underground. That's one thing. But
Mm-hmm.
wasn't there a whole horde coming over the top of the mountain? Like the pipe stuff had signaled some that weren't underground. So there was this whole horde coming over the mountain.
There was like, well, did they come? There was like more that came out of the hole, right? Like they had the
Yeah,
initial
and then they had a bunch come up out of the hole, and then those two swarms like joined each other.
together, yeah, and formed a bigger horde, or I don't know what comes next after hordes.
It's definitely a hive mind. It's definitely some form of a hive mind because they're all connected in some source. But there's no queen. There's no one thing that okay, you kill that, all of them die. I don't think this works that way. I think they're all connected, but I don't think it has a primary source where you can kill it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's what's scary about it, or adds a
Right.
scary level to it.
Amy says they
Exactly.
have
So
gone
it's
too
like
long with the Walking Dead series with all the spin-offs. They've
I'm
got quite
actually
a
enjoying the spin-offs. Like I thought they were actually better because at least they're finally admitting that this is not Robert Kirkman's Walking Dead. Like we're doing this. So it's like their own story. So I can dig that. Like, okay, this has nothing to do with the sort you kind of went off on your own and did something.
Yeah.
So it
With them
doesn't the spin-offs don't bother me as much.
with them saying that it's a whole different universe, you could that makes sense. It's just a whole different story, different universe, okay? But
Yes.
there's still a lot of discrepancies and things that happen. So one way I talk to people about it, and even myself, when I watch the show, because a lot of stuff don't make sense or whatever, I treat it like it's someone telling the story. It's not we're watching it in real time. It's more of a playback of someone telling the story. So everything isn't going to add up, that kind of thing.
Smart. Smart. No, I like that. That's a good way to think about it. The cordyceps were mutated. I don't know. Like I don't know if that's how they're going to play in the spores that it's become mutated, and that's like kind of I think also how they're explaining
the
the
new,
stalkers.
yeah, that seems to
Yeah,
be the
like
way they're trying to go with it. And it makes
I,
sense
so
as far as the budget wise goes. Because I don't know how else they would have done the spores throughout the entire show.
yeah, I did see the showrunner say that in an interview. It's been a couple weeks back, but he did say that, yeah, it's more of an evolution type thing in the TV show.
Mm-hmm.
which is smart. But I think that, like I've been saying, out of all the adaptations we have out there, this one is one of the better ones. And I know people aren't going to agree with me, but in my opinion, from seeing certain adaptations that have been fucking horrible and haven't paid homage to their source material except by having a character with the same name,
Right.
this isn't bad. It's not bad at all.
No, even like, I mean, compared to like, I haven't played the game, but just from what everybody's saying, I mean, they did Halo so dirty. They completely went sideways with that shit. So, like, in comparison, this is probably, like, yeah, like you said, Data, all these different shows that they try to do, this one's doing pretty good. They've changed a few things, which, again, some things you kind of expect when it comes to time-wise and budget. But it seems like they're keeping the core essence of most things. Now, I know there's going to be some gripes with some of the characters in season 1. And again, I think those were just little things that they wanted to kind of add into the story-wise. The same way because they want to boost some of these characters a little bit more than maybe what they had in the game. Because of the fact that it is a TV show. And you're trying to get people to kind of a little more heartfelt on more of these characters. But otherwise, it looks like they're going pretty good. See, Texas says, I'm driving, but had to add the same kind of fungus currently living underneath acres of forest land in Oregon in real life. Ooh. Yeah, we do
Well,
know that
thank
it's
you very
based
much.
off of
I will
some
not be
real.
going to Oregon.
Yeah, we definitely know they're based off some real fungi that is out there with a nice little twist.
Yes, definitely.
See, Vic
Because yeah,
says
some
yes.
things you gotta write
Go.
off as this isn't going to have any explanation. It just is what it is. Yeah,
It's true.
very true. 1000%. Or I really agree with Dana. Hive mind. I think of your position, the vines, it will travel like being posed in like or in the bloodstream, like the veins and are the vines for the infected. Yeah, that it's basically they were moving and it's almost like it was triggering. Because didn't they say that like almost episode 1 or 2, it could talk
Mm-hmm.
to one that's miles and miles away. So I don't know if that's what triggered it or Abby walking on them triggered it. I don't know. They're very vague about that.
Right.
Yep. You might be able to kill the vines, but with the release of spores, you'd have to poison
The land
or
or
burn. Yeah.
burn it. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see because it showed in the trailer like they're going to show the spores at some point. So
Yes.
I can't wait to see how they're going to do that. And those are little changes, but at least they're still trying to keep it more like an evolutionary thing, still keeping it somewhat scientific. So it's not to me like just a complete cop out, like, cause this is already kind of going based off some real sort of, things that we have on the earth. They're kind of keeping with that sci-fi theme. So I like that aspect of it for the zombies. Again, the zombies to me though, every time I look at them, I swear they look like something that came from from the ocean. And they just have all these barnacles and shit just attached to them, but it's fungus. It's the wildest shit ever. Every time I see it, I slightly snicker and think of Pirates of the Caribbean. They were all on the ship and all the pirates and stuff like are part of the ship. And they got
Yep.
all the little like fucking coral and shit on them.
Yeah,
But
it's pretty
they're lots.
nasty.
They're scary. They're very scary.
No, I mean, I believe the show's only supposed to go 3 seasons. I don't know if they're going to stretch it past that. I think they're doing it. Season 1 was the first game, and then
Mm-hmm.
seasons 2 and 3 are supposed to be the second game. So I don't know if they're going to go after this after season 3, but they're pretty much on track because it happens very soon in the second game. Joel dies. Like it happens in the beginning. So it I get why people might be like, oh, they could have stretched it, but that's when you start killing a show. When you try to stretch things too much, sometimes it's not going to work. And I don't think they could have stretched this much. Maybe this could have been like the mid-season thing, maybe, but I don't see it going past that because there's
Right.
still so much story to tell, and if they're going to fit it in 3 seasons, they got to keep that pace.
Right. This was good. I mean, I enjoyed this scene. We got a lot of good. Look, there's attention to detail. They showed the body parts in the explosion. Look at the body over here. Look at that shit. This is pretty good. Look, see the attention to detail is there. We appreciate it. I like this shot. He was kind of a star of this episode, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, Tommy, he did his thing this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Like even his wife,
Oh yeah, Tara. She was
she
holding it
stood her
down. I'm
ground.
sorry, I can't think of her as anything other than Tara from on True Blood. But yes, she was holding it down on the rooftops. I love that scene. Like you said, the loader checking her out. There she is, and he's like, "Oh hell to the nah, that's my woman."
That's my wife. Back up off it.
And then he told him, "I got this flamethrower." Piece of shit.
Yup. I mean, it was great. It was a great like action scene. Like once
Mm-hmm.
those friggin' infected slammed against that fence, it was a wrap. It like they were just piling and piling. I thought they were almost gonna do the World War Z thing and just start like piling up on each other until they like got to the top.
Right.
So I wasn't sure like how they were gonna play it, but I thought this was pretty. It kept me like glued. I was
Right.
watching like, oh
Can
shit,
you imagine the
oh
dude
shit.
like that was looking through these binoculars? Like, 'cause I remember his face, and he's just like, man, you see this shit, and like it's all snowy out there. You got to snort, and then you just see these fucking bodies start popping up. Cause you got to that. Just, oh shit! It's like it's what we've trained for, but no, we didn't want this shit to happen. And they got on it quick too. They were ready. It was
They did. They held their ground. They really did. You had a few people who ran away, which is understandable. You know, some people are going to do that.
these two guys here for sure. Little scary ass bitches.
You know, I would hope I would stand my ground, but I don't know.
This
Do you
bloater
think
was
you would
standing
stand
his
your
ground
ground or
too.
run? What
He
about you
tried.
guys? You guys think you would stand your ground or you think you'd run?
Well, I don't know. I'd want to stay. I would want to hope I would stay in my ground because I get a flamethrower. I mean, that
You get
alone
to
would just.
earn your name, Fever.
I mean, you know, I might end up like that one dude, the other guy with the flamethrower. He ended up on the ground getting fucked up and shit. But I at least would have had fun with my flamethrower before I died.
Well, the thing that would be in no matter what kind of life or death situation, really, I mean, it's life or death. It's not a game. You don't get to respawn. You don't get extra lives. You don't get a little medicine bag floating in the air where it's going to heal you if you run through it. You know, you're going to fucking die, dude. That's scary to think about.
Texas asked me, have I seen the game movies on YouTube on this? I have not. I haven't seen anything other than what we've seen on the TV show. But did they have a movie? Is
They
it just
made
like
it
the
like
game?
a movie. So they took all the cutscenes.
Oh, okay,
and, like,
yeah.
made it
No, I
into,
haven't
like,
checked that out yet, but I actually am thinking about it, or just even playing through the game, just to see.
It's a great game from what I heard people play it. I don't know if it's one of the games Miguel ever played. Because I don't remember it. I remember watching it on YouTube. I don't know if he played it. So, but I heard it's worth a play through. Like, I've heard good things about it.
Bill Chill, scattered limbs. Thumbs up. Check. Yep. We gotta have a scattered limbs, flamethrowers. Yes, that's right. That's the way to go. Gotta have the flamethrower. After that, I mean, what? Well, I mean, there's still a few things. Do we get like a tank next? What? You survive with the flame. Like, what did we get next? If we survive the massacre and we held it down with the flamethrower, what do we get next? What's our upgrade? I'm curious.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I think this episode for me was around like an 8. I wasn't bad. I thought it was really good. And even the Ellie's reaction to Joel dying, like if you weren't like crying at that moment, when she was like, "Get up, Joel, just get up," I was like, "Oh, some bitch." I was even like, "Get up, Joel, get up."
He said, "I'm sorry, me and mine would be
thought
in
it
the
was good.
basement." This is gonna be Vic right here. Where was it? Hang on, where is that image? This is Vic. Like, she got the kids taking children down to the basement. Y'all got this, Scarlet Day, to hold it down, James.
I'm gonna save the children.
Yeah, she's like,
gotta
hold
watch
it down in the basement. Y'all got this. And Jill says, I called the flamethrower last episode only because I was smelling for weed and it came to mind that would work on cordyceps too. Oh, nice.
Pull out your little flamethrower and do the Buffy thing, get the can of hairspray. Just start whatever works.
It worked out. I mean,
We
it was
did
a
it.
little touch and go there for a minute. I actually got real worried when this motherfucker kind of like screamed back through the fire. Oh shit. Like, well, it was nice knowing you. You were a very brave soul.
Right? We salute you, Tommy. You get full regards.
And then just that ending. Oh shit, I forgot. She's so fucking badass. I love it when she released the dogs. And the motherfuckers just went out and it was just like, Let's see. He's thinking like, oh, all hope is gone. This is fucked up. This is like a massacre. And then the dogs come out. He's like, hell yeah, go tear their ass up. We got this. He starts going and shooting again. Woo!
Right? The dogs did their thing though. Them
They
dogs went out
did.
there and they was ripping them dudes.
I do like
I
how
was
they
like,
still
yes.
showed the frostbite, right? Letting you know that it was a danger out there. It wasn't like they were just, running around outside. She actually did get hit pretty hard with it, or hard enough that they, to make note of it. So it was pretty cold
Yeah.
out there, which was another thing that was weird, that I guess maybe that's why the creatures maybe didn't follow them. I don't know, because they were more in the mountains where the cabin was. Going back to the cold thing, like I wondered if maybe that's why, because like how did they survive the cold? Now that Texas Mofo, I believe, brought that up, I'm kind of questioning that shit. Damn it, why did they have to put a question in my head, Dana?
I don't know, but like I said, that wasn't from the game. We don't see something like that. So I'm not too sure. But I guess if they're underground and they're like insulated, because we do know animals do hibernate and burrow underground for the winter.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's a possibility that it could do that.
How did they go through the storm though? Because if she's getting like a little bit of frostbite, I guess they can still manage through that.
I don't know.
I'm
You're
overanalyzing.
you're asking too many questions, Scarlet.
I know. I am. I do that.
Because yeah, it is questionable. I mean, I know fungus doesn't, like, it goes dormant, like cold doesn't kill it, so it could,
Right.
like, when it thaws out, it could come back
It'd
alive
come
or
back.
whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
these things were just coming up out of the ground, and I understand the underground insulated, but what about running the whole way to the city? Like, you'd think maybe they would freeze
A little
going.
bit, or they wouldn't be running as fast, right? Like they were running like there was nothing holding them back, but they was icy looking
Yeah.
until the flamethrowers came out and the barrels of fire and the explosions. Maybe that's heated them up a little bit, I guess. Thawed things out.
Defrosted them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I mean, I'm still looking forward to the rest of the season. Like I'm invested. I'm ready to see where it goes. I think we're only getting 7 episodes. So it's going to be a fast season. But I'm interested. I thought it was good.
And Pan says
I
we
don't know
should be
about
in the
you guys,
basement trying to repopulate the species. Well, you gotta do what you gotta do.
right? We got to get those numbers back up. We got to get those numbers back up.
In Texas, I'm telling you, it is BS. But the second game does have several infected in the snow, not hordes though. Yeah, now that you mentioning it, Texas, you're making me think too much. And I was trying not to think too much on this one because I was told this is not one of our normal like mystery boxes. You don't ask too many questions. Now I'm asking questions, and I'm curious as fuck now too. How the hell this bitch got frostbite? But they was running through there like they was hot on coals or something. Damn it! See what Texas done did.
Oh, you done did it now. But I don't know. What about you guys? Like I said, I would give this episode an 8. What would you guys rate this show and chat? What would you guys give this?
Episode, I definitely give it a 7 to an 8. Because there wasn't too much that I disliked about it. Again, I'm just slightly not, they're not some of my favorite kind of shows, but for what it is, it's pretty good.
I could
What
give
about
it
you,
even
James?
up. I could go even up to 8.5 just because of what the episode contained, not as much for the story
Mm-hmm.
and stuff, but just holy shit, huge battle scene. 8.5,
Yeah, no, that for sure was really good. The big battle was good.
Yes, I thought it was just a good overall. I mean, look at that. That's like, and the fact that they're fast. I'm telling you,
Mm-hmm.
that's what's going to make or break the zombie apocalypse. It's going to matter whether them bastards are slow or fast. Because if we're dealing with fast zombies, it's going to be harder, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't you guys think
Right.
it would be harder with
Oh
faster
yeah,
zombies than slow ones?
for sure.
Bill
Bill
Chill
gives
says
it
8.1.
mm-hmm.
Jen will go with a 9. Awesome.
And Patrick's just got question marks. He don't know what the fuck's going on. That's all right, Patrick. We all get confused. Why would a dead person be fast? I will you because they're reanimated. So they have more animation now. They're wild as fuck. I don't know.
Fanta Colima said 6'9". There you go.
69 is your favorite number, I see. Nice.
No, it was a great episode. I didn't mind it at all, and we got our infected. We got, good story. We got a nice pot shop. I know
Yeah.
all of us 420 celebateurs were like, "Oh, look at
I
that.
know, but now
Look at
it's
that
like, but
beautiful
look, it's bittersweet though, right? Because they tainted the pot shop. It was Joel's, and I feel bad now smoking the weed sometimes.
I
Because
mean,
and
it
then
just
we
looked
kind of
like
remember about Joel. And, there she is with her mask. It was a good shop, and then now we got to know it always as it was Joel's, and he's no longer with us. And she took all his weed. Well, not all of it, but she did, take a few baggies of it to go.
I mean, who wouldn't? Who wouldn't take a little nosh? Just a little bit.
It was
It's not gonna
nice.
harm anybody.
I mean, as much as your backpack would hold,
Much as you can carry.
No, so like, and I think the episode does it air at midnight tonight? So I've
Probably.
been watching it on
Yeah.
Mondays. So I don't know
Usually
if
they
the
do
app
release if
releases it
it's on.
early.
Yeah, I was gonna say usually they do somewhere around midnight or so. That's when a lot of those apps seem to release them.
Yes. I mean, I totally would pull up the trailer, but yeah, HBO didn't like that very much.
Oh yeah,
So
HBO
I
can
don't
be a
think I'm
little.
going.
They're touchy sometimes, Dana. Okay.
It was not happy with the trailer.
No, they didn't appreciate it, but that's
No, but if
okay.
somebody has it, feel free to post it in the Discords if anybody has access to the trailer. So
hmm
if anybody wants to watch, they could check it out in the Discords.
Oh yeah, this was another reason I forgot all about this before we close it up tonight. This is another thing that kind of nudged us in that direction of Joel and his death. Them finding this like in his shop.
Is that the guy he shot, the woman's husband?
Yeah,
hmm
I think so. Yeah.
So he even kept his little firefly medallion, which was interesting. Um, again, that I forgot about that moment, and that just again showing us sort of how they were leading us to that point.
Right. Now it makes sense why his wife was a pothead.
hmm
But no, I'm excited for the rest of the season. What about you guys?
Mm-hmm.
Oh
We've
yeah.
seen worse shows.
Because I mean, they got it set up. It's pretty nice. We're gonna have the aftermath of sort of the town and what's left. I'm trying to figure out again more of what is going on with the infected, and then we have Joel. His death. So now, how is that going? Everybody's going to get shooken up from that as well. Of course, Ellie and her. Is she going to rampage? How is that going to? How are they going to show that? I know it's already shown in the games, but just seeing, they got to set up for some good stuff. Let's see where we're going to go with it.
I
But the
know when they were
infected took a
dragging
little bit of
Joel's
a hit.
body. Oh,
That was
that was
sad.
so sad.
She was looking back at it, yeah. And dude kicked the shit out of her too. Fuck him. I hope she kills
Sure
him
did.
first and then saves the other girl for later. Because look, man, what did you expect from her? She come in there, dude. What did you want from her? Yeah, she stabbed shit out. Y'all got her boy on the ground. You kicking his ass. What do you want from her? She's a kid.
Oh, I know when she was yelling at him to get up. I was like, oh my God. I was like, get up, Joel. Get up. I was like
Right?
yelling. I was like, just get up. Kick their ass.
He did kind of raise up
Mhm.
slightly
Oh yeah, he did.
right
Yeah,
before
he did.
the golf club.
Oh yeah.
Yep, pretty much. But you're right. Like, I don't understand the whole torturing aspect. Okay, like you wanted to kill him. What does torturing him do?
Particularly for the dude to not really stop her, like just to let her continue through it. Which I get it, it does make for the moment. It sets up for the feud with Ellie and all that kind of good stuff. But I just couldn't stand her preaching the way she was preaching to Joel, and I'm like, sweetheart, okay, look, I understand. He killed your dad when you were young, and you're really distraught about that. I get that. Like, I totally understand you want to shoot him in the face. Or what is the rest of this shit? Don't spout off about your poor daddy, your poor defenseless daddy who was trying to kill a little girl. That's all. I get it. You're upset. Don't you fucking spout that shit. Like he was just a straight up murderer or something like that. I don't think Joel just straight up went in there to murder people. He straight up went in there to save a little girl. Right?
Yeah,
How many people has she killed?
right. That's why it really made it seem to be like they didn't know. But personally, I don't think it would have made a fuck difference to Abby either way. But maybe if the other people knew around her, they would have tried harder to stop her.
Oh, Texas. Yeah, that would. Oh, shit. Did I get that screenshot? It's towards the end. Here he is. The guy shows his hand, and then, yep, he gives him the gun to be shot because he knows, like, that's pretty. There you go. Now you want to talk about some shit. Like, would you let people know that you're bitten, or would you just try to hide that shit and be, fuck them everybody up later by not telling? Because they was like, no, I was bitten. Here, shoot me.
You would also wonder, like, maybe see if they turn, because you don't know if somebody else out there could be immune. Just because Ellie's immune the way she's immune doesn't mean there's not somebody else out there who might be immune in a different way. So if you just automatically kill everybody before seeing if they turn or not, I don't know.
Right.
What do you guys think? Do you think it's a good idea just to automatically or do like a controlled type of
Well, I'm sure you would
watch and
want
see if they
to, but
turn?
like, would you always have the means to like keep someone? Like, you would want. That's a risk to take, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you have more than one infected. Like in this situation, if multiple townspeople, got infected during this raid, then how do you just you tie everybody up? Who's going to watch them? There's that time frame, right? They talked about of depending on where you're bit at, how long it takes to incubate and stuff. And then on top of it, we know that the creatures are possibly getting smarter. So do you want to risk, them doing something or tricking you in some way? You just hope that automatically you just shoot them. I don't know. I mean, it would be a risk you'd have to assess if you're willing to do that or not.
What about you, Jade? Would you just automatically kill them, or would you try to see if anybody else was immune?
After the shit I just went through, I'd probably kill them before they turned, I guess. Especially if it's somebody I didn't like. Oh, Bob? Yeah, I never liked Bob.
Oh, Bob, you got bit. Sorry. How? That's it.
You got to go.
But yeah, I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, I mean, because how are you supposed to find somebody immune if you don't see if they're
And
immune?
yeah, in Texas, yeah, good point. Ellie is very unique in her situation, and they made it out like that too. Like they're trying to make it as if Ellie is a once in a sort of lifetime type of deal. And that's why she was so valuable because it was such a unique situation. Like for someone to get bit while being pregnant and about to give birth, it's such a unique situation for that to happen. I guess that they're basically it's not just getting bit is going to cause you to be immune. It has to come from something else. So the odds of that happening are kind of slim, but it's still possible. It was possible enough for Ellie, so it's still a possibility. But yeah, it would be. And then I don't know how many people actually know of said immunity. I don't know if the whole town knows, just certain people know. It seemed as if she was still kind of hiding it.
Yes.
So yeah, I don't know. Like Pan says it could have been maybe if people knew that they are immune people, it would be different, but who knows?
And there's nobody even left. How would you even begin to try to figure something like that out? You still don't even know if the doctor that Joel killed, if he got whatever he was going to get from Ellie, doesn't really mean he could fix anything. It still might
Right.
not work because you have to then turn around and produce some kind of vaccine. And in this type of world, how do you even do that?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess you're damned if you do and damned if you don't in every fucking situation in the apocalypse.
Pretty much. And yeah, Texas, as he says, they need to get a bunch of Prager's spit. Test it out. There you go. It's for science, right?
Pray for science. But no, this is a very I enjoyed this episode. I'm excited for tonight or tomorrow's episode. Don't even know what day of the
Yeah,
week it is
I
anymore.
think though the other people they experimented on were infected people. I mean, I could be wrong.
Yeah, as far as the TV show goes,
It
they made it out as if Ellie was the first of her kind
well,
that they ever.
well, I'm saying the
Right.
game too. From what I remember watching, there were not any other immune people.
Mhm.
All the other people that the Fireflies experimented on were infected, not immune. But I could be wrong. But that's what seemed like I saw that somewhere.
Mhm. That was my understanding, but I mean, I do want to go. It's making me more and more want to play the game just so I know what the differences are. But
I think you
yeah,
would like it, Scarlet. I do think you'd like the game.
you know, I might have to put it on the list. You never know. You might have to pick that up.
Yes.
But it was good.
And yep. And thank you everybody. I appreciate everybody coming and hanging out with us. I know we switched the episode from Thursday to tonight. And I might have to do that again next week just because I have my mom's surgery on Tuesday. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to get everything together for a Thursday night stream next week. So it might be Saturday again next week. And then the following week, we'll be back to our regular Thursday night time slots for the review of the episodes. And we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna we're gonna get back to it.
Right?
As soon as the world stops throwing fuckery my way. Any final words, Scarlett, James, about the episode before we get ready to close it out tonight?
No, it was a good episode. Good setup for what we are going to get to see. And I liked all the zombies. We got a lot of good fungus zombies. And we got the bloater showdown. A good proper, like Big Daddy battle.
Yeah. Can't wait to see the rest of it.
I know, and then starting soon is going to be Dead City, correct? That starts in the beginning of May.
Yep, May 4th.
Right.
There you go. So maybe we can try to fit in a stream for that, James. If you'd be down to talk some Dead City, I'll reach out to Brian from Shook Earth. I know he's dying to talk some Walking Dead with us, and maybe we could set up a Dead City stream.
Yeah, for
Ooh.
sure.
Talk
And
some Walking Dead.
yeah, we can do one like a pregame thing if you want, or first episode, whatever. Just let me know.
Oh, he's ready. Did you hear the excitement? I heard that. He's a hell yeah.
He
That
said,
was
"Let's
a
go,
hell yeah.
let's go." But anything else, Scarlett? You want to mention the artist contest one more time before we wrap it up?
Yes, guys. So we only got like 2 weeks left, give or take a week and a half or something like that. To put your entries in. We got till May 9th for the Fever Fan Art Frenzy on Severance, Yellow Jackets, and the TV show From. So make sure you get your submissions in before then, and then we will let you guys in the chat see what everybody has created. And yeah, we'll go from there, see who our lucky winners will be. So far, we've only got a few submissions, so there's still lots of room for anyone who wants to get in on it. Dana's always got awesome prizes. They're nice. They're really good. Come to the dark side. We have chocolate chip cookies, bagels, and lots of other things.
Right, goodies. We always got the goodies over here. And don't forget to subscribe to James's channels. You have the Walking Dead Explained and the More Dead stuff that he's been putting up some awesome videos with some awesome people. I won't say who on the chat.
Mm-hmm.
And his links are in the description. Scarlet's links are in the description. So everything's there in the description of the video. And yeah, thank you guys so much for bearing with the madness and coming and talking some Last of Us. And we will see you guys
In about an hour.
hopefully. Oh yes, that's right.
Yes. I haven't set it up yet, Dana. Like, life is just some bitch like that. But yeah, after we end this, I'm setting up a stream. We're gonna hang out, and you never know what might happen. I may have bought some shots. We might hang out, play some games. You just don't know. But we're gonna have fun either way.
I'm gonna be taping my eyeballs open as best I can. But no, thank you, James. Thank you, Scarlett, for always being awesome co-hosts and diving into this awesome show. So until next time, guys, just remember, maybe stay away from the pancakes until we know that,
Stay away from
there's
bread.
no
You never know.
fungus.
Apparently carbs are not our friend, folks.
They are not. But I will keep everybody updated in the Discord, and let's bank on next Saturday for the next episode, and then we'll be back Thursday nights after that. But thank you guys. Love you guys. Have a good night.
Night.
Bye. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.